Welcome, happy Monday, APUSH. We are back starting our week 3 remote learning, and we are also launching our review for the AP exam. It is basically next month, so we need to start reviewing and getting prepared. And so we are going all the way back to the beginning, talking about what we learned in August and September. So a lot of this is probably going to feel really rusty, but just watch this content lecture as we review some of the big content that you need to have in order to be successful on the AP exam. And that is going to be what today's lesson is focusing on, is reactivating that knowledge that you guys spent so much time working on in the fall. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Great. And now that we have our screen shared, remember to have out some paper, a pen, and be prepared to take notes. If you have your period 1 reference sheet, it is probably a good idea to have that out in front of you as well. If not, you will see that that reference sheet is linked in today's lesson. Great. So first, we're going to start with the diversity of Native American tribes at this time. Tribes had developed technology, government systems, and trade networks far before Europeans arrived. And many people believed that North America was defined by very scattered, very small tribes. But that's not the case. There were actually some Native American cities that rivaled the population size of European cities. So it's important to understand that a tribe on the East Coast looks very different than a tribe on the West Coast. They have very, very distinct cultural practices, the same way that Irish people have very distinct cultural practices from the Germans. Same thing goes for Native Americans. It's also important to note that pre-contact North America likely had about 15 million people, because that number is going to absolutely decimate when Europeans arrive with disease and guns. But historians estimate that it should be about 15 million people that are living in North America at this time. Okay, now we're going to look quickly at first contact when Columbus arrives and ruins everything. So there are 3 main factors that are leading to European explorations of the 1400s. Number 1, the Crusades had exposed Europeans to other cultures for the first time. And so they decide that now that they've interacted with these other foreign countries, that they want to expand and begin trading with them. 2, we also have the Protestant Reformation. And this is increasing the religious desire to seek out people and help convert them to Christianity. 3rd, technology. New technology like the caravel, which is a type of boat, and the printing press made this actual transportation possible. So those are the 3 factors that led to increased explorations. There are 3 goals of Europeans. So we just talked about factors, now we're going to look at goals. And the 3 goals, I'm sure you guys are all very familiar with, are gold, glory, and God. Gold, they want riches, they want money. Glory, they want to be part of the most notable European nation. And 3rd, God, they want to convert and force conversion onto other peoples that otherwise would not come in contact with Christianity. There are many, many effects of Columbus's arrival to to North America. It's not the United States yet. And one of the main consequences all of this can be summed up under the Columbian Exchange. The Columbian Exchange was the exchange of people, disease, food, etc. between the Western Hemisphere, North America and South America, to the Eastern Hemisphere, Europe and Africa. There's we have a graph here listing very specifically what transfers where, but these are some of the most important ones. 1, we have horses coming from Europe to North America, which is going to drastically change the quality and way of life for Native Americans, and it becomes an integral part of their culture. 2, You have disease coming from Europe, which is going to completely decimate North American populations. It's going to completely wipe out millions of people. Third, maize and corn, as well as other foods like potatoes that are very high in calories, are going to help boost boost a population increase in Europe. So they are now able to better take care of themselves and have a better life expectancy because they are getting access to higher quality foods. And finally, one of the other most notable things is the transmission of Africans and their forced enslavement from Africa to North and South America. There are many debates over how Native Americans should be treated. This is a population that Europeans had never interacted with before, so they had a lot of concerns and debates about how they should deal with Native Americans. And there are two main schools of thought. On the one side, you have Juan de Sepulveda, and he justifies Spanish colonization by whatever means. So basically, Spanish colonization is fine, no matter how that turns, no matter how they treat Native Americans, whether that be through the encomienda system, through slavery, or through the intentional killing of them, and also the forced conversion of Native Americans. On the other side, you have Bartholomew de las Casas, who witnesses the treatment of Native Americans and is very vocal against it. And he writes a lot of pamphlets and writings that specifically highlight the negative treatment towards Native Americans from the Spanish, and criticizes very actively the way that the Spanish are treating Native Americans. Okay, we're now going to look at how these different settlements, we've spent a little bit of time on Spain, so now we're going to look specifically at how other European countries treated Native Americans. So first, starting with France, France did not take a lot of interest in North America until Samuel de Champlain, I am so bad at French, founded Quebec in 1608. And he founded this colony specifically for fur trade. You also have Jesuit priests who are settling along the Mississippi River and creating trading posts along the Mississippi. And what is super notable about the French is how proud they are about the way that they treat the Native Americans. While the Spanish are notoriously cruel towards Native Americans, the French are characterized by their diplomatic and military connections with natives. They are very peaceful. They do not steal land. If they possess any land from natives, they actively pay for it, and they treat Native Americans with respect and as trading allies, not as pawns in their game. And the French are very proud about the way that they go about this. You also have French men marrying willingly Native American women, creating a merging of two societies through peaceful measures, not force. We also have the Dutch. The Dutch also came to America with the primary goal of setting up trade alliances. They didn't really have any interest in establishing civilizations or like true colonies. They just wanted to trade. And this begins in 1609 when Henry Hudson, who was employed by the Dutch East India Trading Company, sails up the Hudson River, what is now the Hudson River. It's named after him. And by 1614, the Dutch had established several trading posts along the Hudson River, all the way from New York City, which was then called New Amsterdam, and all the way up to here in Albany. They also characterized themselves with their positive interactions with Native Americans. They kept things very diplomatic, and they also ensured if they ever acquired land from Native Americans, that it was paid for. This takes us to now the English colonies, and this is our final slide. We're going to specifically look at what is so notable about these English colonies. First, and I know that we've spent a lot of time on this, but we're still reviewing, the Southern colonies are established with under two main things you need to know about Southern colonies. One, they are settled with the plantation model in mind, which is owning acres and acres and acres of land, and establishing a well-known crop and focusing specifically on that crop. In Virginia, it is tobacco. In most of these colonies in the South are established under greed for land and greed for gold. So it is financially motivated. Whereas in the Middle and the North New England colonies, these are characterized by family farms. So a family would grow a little bit of everything in order to like subsistence farming. It is all that they need. They don't actively focus on growing mass amounts of one crop to trade. Most of these colonies are also established out of a need for religious protection because they are fleeing religious persecution. So the New England and the Middle colonies are characterized by a need for refuge. It's really important to know that these colonists are coming to North America as refugees. And the relationship that we see between the English and Native Americans is a hostile one. They do not try to take over Native Americans in the same way that the Spanish do, but they do not have the peaceful diplomatic relations that the French and the Dutch do. English colonists arrive and feel entitled to the land that they arrive on, and they in turn get into many hostile conflicts with Native Americans because they encroach themselves upon that land. So that's what's most notable about the English colonies, is while they don't actively seek out war, war inevitably follows because of the entitlement that they feel about the land that they end up on. Great. There is no oral drill quiz today. Congratulations. But there is a do now quiz with multiple choice practice. So still make sure you do that. That is what is counting towards your participation. It does have points on it, but you guys aren't getting points. It's not going to affect your grade. I just have those in there so that way you can see whether or not you're getting the answers correct, but it's not going to end up in your Power School gradebook. So I look forward to seeing you guys on Zoom. Be sure to hop on with me from 11:20 to noon. And we are going to work on today's packet, which is a lot of spiral review. So if you need help with content or the skills that come at the end with the short answer questions, please hop on and interact with me. I am super excited to see you guys there. I'm going to make this an announcement on Google Classroom, but just to vocalize it here, because there has been a lack of participation on Zoom, you are now going to be graded by whether or not you come on Zoom. You can choose to either come on Zoom from 11:20 to noon, Monday through Friday, or 2:30 to 4, Monday through Thursday. You need to check in with me at least twice during the week. So this is hopping on Zoom and asking about documents, asking about the AP exam, asking about your grade. You must have a face-to-face via Zoom interaction with me at least twice a week. This is going to be a quiz grade. So if you get on Zoom with me twice a week, you will be getting a 100% quiz grade weekly. So for those of you guys that have been doing Zoom, great, your grades are gonna look awesome for the beginning of the quarter as you have this boost. For those of you guys that have not been participating on Zoom, please make sure you prioritize this. This is insanely important. So that is all I have to say. Make sure you take that Do Now quiz. That is where you are getting participation for today. I look forward to seeing you guys on Zoom and seeing more of you guys on Zoom, as now we have that grade incentive. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. Again, Zoom is 11:20 to noon, Monday through Friday, and 2:30 to 4, Monday through Thursday. And you can always email me if for any reason you have questions not during our Zoom hours. Look forward to seeing you guys on Zoom in just a little bit.